The word of Yahuwah that came to Micah of Moresheth in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear, O people, all of you, hearken, O earth, and all that is in it. Let Adonai Yahuwah be a witness against you. For Yahuwah from his holy temple, for behold, Yahuwah is coming forth out of his place, and he will come down and tread upon the high places of the earth, and the mountains will melt under him, and the valleys will be cleft like wax before the fire, like waters poured down a steep place. All of this is for the transgression of Jacob, and for the sins of the house of Israel. What is the transgression of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? And what is the sin of the house of Judah? Is it not Jerusalem? Therefore I will make Samaria a heap in the open country, a place for planting vineyards, and I will pour down her stones into the valley and uncover her foundations. All of her images shall be beaten to pieces. All her hires shall be burned with fire, and all her idols I will lay waste. For from the hire of a harlot she gathered them, and to the hire of a harlot they shall return. For this I will lament and wail, for I will go stripped and naked. I will make lamentation like the jackals, and mourning like the ostriches. For her wound be incurable, and it has come to Judah. It has reached the gate of my people, to Jerusalem. Tell it not in Gath, weep not at all in Bethlehem, Ephraim. Roll yourselves in the dust. Pass on your way, inhabitants of Shaphir, in nakedness and shame. The inhabitants of Zaanan, do not come forth. The wailing of Beth-Ezel, that shall take away from you its standing place. For the inhabitants of Maroth wait anxiously for good, because evil has come down from Yahuwah, and to the gate of Jerusalem. Harness the steeds to the chariots, inhabitants of Lachish, you who were the beginning of sin, to the daughters of Zion. For in you were found the transgression of Israel. Therefore you shall give parting gifts to Moresheth-Gath. The house of Azib shall be a deceitful thing to the kings of Israel. I will again bring a conqueror upon you, inhabitants of Mareshah. The glory of Israel shall come down to Adullam. Make yourselves bald and cut off your hair, for the children of your delight. Make yourselves bald as an eagle, for they shall go from you into exile. Woe to those who devise wickedness, and who work evil upon their beds. When the morning dawns, they perform it, because it is in the power of their hands. They covet fields and seize them, and houses, and take them away. They oppress a man and his house, a man and his inheritance. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, behold, against this family I am devising evil, from which you cannot remove your necks, and you shall not walk haughtily, for it will be an evil time. In that day they shall take up a taunt song against you, and wail with bitter lamentation, and say, we are utterly ruined. He changes the portion of my people, how he removes it from me. Amongst our captor he divides our fields. Therefore you will have none to cast the line by lot in the assembly of Yahuwah. Do not preach, thus they preach. One should not preach of such things. Disgrace will not overtake us. Should this be said, O house of Jacob, is the spirit of Yahuwah impatient? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him who walks upright? But you rise against my people as an enemy. You strip the robe from the peaceful, from those who pass by trustingly with no thought of war. The women of my people you drive out from their pleasant houses. From their young children you take away my glory forever. Arise and go, for this is no place to rest, because of uncleanliness that destroys with grief his destruction. If a man should go about and utter wind and lies, saying, I will preach to you of wine and strong drink, he would be the preacher for his people. I will surely gather all of you, O Jacob. I will gather the remnant of Israel. I will set them together like sheep in a fold, like a flock in his pasture, a noisy multitude of men. He who opens the breach will go up before them. They will break through and pass the gate, going out by it. Their king will pass on before them, Yahuwah at their head. And I say, hear, you heads of Jacob and rulers of the house of Israel. Is it not for you who know justice, you who hate the good and love evil, who tear the skin from off my people and their flesh from off their bones, who eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them and break their bones in pieces and chop them up like meat in a kettle, like flesh in a cauldron? Then they will cry out to Yahuwah, but he will not answer them. He will hide his face from them at the time, because they have made their deeds evil. Thus says Yahuwah concerning the prophets who lead my people astray, who cry peace when they have something to eat, but declare war against him who puts nothing in their mouths. Therefore it shall be night to you without vision, and darkness to you without divination. The sun shall go down upon the prophets, and the day shall be black over them. The seers shall be disgraced, and the diviners put to shame. They shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer from Yahuwah. But as for me, I am filled with power, and with the spirit of Yahuwah, and with justice and might, to declare Jacob his transgressions, and Israel his sin. Hear this, you heads of the house of Jacob, and rulers of the house of Israel, who abhor justice and pervert all equity, who build Zion with blood and Jerusalem with wrong. Its heads give judgment for a bribe, its priests teach for hire, its prophets divine for money. Yet they lean upon Yahuwah and say, is it not Yahuwah in the midst of us? No evil shall come upon us. Therefore, because of you, Zion shall be plowed as a field, Jerusalem shall be a heap of ruins, and the mountain of the house of wooded height. It shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the house of Yahuwah shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and it shall be raised up above the hills, and people shall flow to it, and many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, and to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and he may teach us his ways, and we may walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, the Torah, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. He shall judge between many peoples, and shall decide for strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of Yahuwah of hosts has spoken. For all the people walk, each in the name of his Elohim, but we will walk in the name of Yahuwah our Elohim forever and ever. In that day, says Yahuwah, I will assemble the lame and gather those who have been driven away, and those whom I have afflicted. And the lame I will make the remnant, and those who were cast off a strong nation. And Yahuwah will reign over them in Mount Zion from this time forth forevermore. And you, O tower of the flock, hills of the daughters of Zion, to you shall it come. The former dominion shall come, the kingdoms of the daughter of Jerusalem. Now why do you cry aloud? Is there no king in you? Has your counselor perished with pangs, have seized you like a woman in travail? Writhe and groan, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now you shall go forth from the city and dwell in the open country. You shall go to Babylon. There you shall be rescued there. Yahuwah will redeem you from the hand of your enemies.